So what are you going to do about the doppelganger? But I take it that what you're planning on doing is sending one letter to King and to Duke Jasar. You're going to do that with doppelganger.
That was really good until like the last 3 seconds. Everything was clear, but I think from what we're talking about, we want to send a letter to the king. Yep, and one to the duke, updating him what we found out so far. Sending the changeling as well under escort, and then continuing on the trail of the 3 ne'er-to-do-wells.
So who's taking the prisoner?
Okay, so the Baron safe keeps the prisoner in their dungeons for eventual sending to Jissa.
Automatically determine input sensitivity.
Yeah, so that should either, if it's already doing that, then
okay. How about this? Is this nice and solid?
Yep.
It looks pretty clear to me. It's a green light staying on all the time.
Yeah, it's much better.
Oh, good. Okay, I figured out what to do.
I can't hear Rui at all. I can see him talking, but I can't hear him.
If he's in working out his settings that won't have the voice activated for us.
I was trying to work out the settings. What did you do, Jeff?
Yeah, I went to voice and video. Yeah. I went to user settings, voice and video, and then it's got voice activity, push to talk, automatically determine input sensitivity. I turned that on, and then I put the slider to the left, and I'm checking where my voice is compared to where the slider is, and my voice is always above it, which means if I'm speaking, it's always activated. And then when I'm not speaking, I can see the ambient noise, and that's below that mark. Technically, it's on minus 86 dB.
How's that?
Yeah, it seems to be alright so far.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Baron Harm says, "Sure, we'll keep this creature prisoner for the time being. If you want to head to Melith, please do so."
All right, I'll mention the sleeping draft and the feeding regimen, which the steward told me about, to keep that up.
All right. Everybody have 400 experience points.
Yay!
If you take a look at the map of Braccia, So Harmisburn and Castle Harm are sort of there's a series of hills that is the border between Lameron and Dershau. So the hills themselves are within Lameron. The plains to the east are Metzu, and Harm and Harmisburn are just inside the Dershau border. You can see the road that leads north which on this map has no settlements on it until you get up to Genham-Lay in Perspa. But there are a number of villages along the way. And then you can see the road continues northwest, tracking the coastline, and that then continues on and on up to Malith, which is off the map. Which gives you an indication of how much time it's going to take. So it will take approximately 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks to get to Malith.
I feel like this is a good spot to call quits.
That trip is largely uneventful. You do see,
okay.
Assuming that you're taking it. I'm sorry, I had my earphones out.
Good. Then you can ignore what I said.
What did you say?
Nothing. Don't worry.
I didn't hear anything either.
Time for a random encounter.
No.
No. Oh, yes, the dwarf should do something.
The dwarf grappled the changeling.
Yeah, but you know, we've got like a sharp axe that hasn't been used yet.
I haven't insulted anyone yet.
You have yet to insult anyone to death.
Exactly.
So, allow me to just something here. Right. It does pass largely uneventfully. There's a good amount of traffic on the road. There are, you pass through villages and so on. I think it's fair to say that over the course of the last 4 weeks, you will have spent approximately 30 gold pieces each on food, lodgings, and food for your horses and accommodations for your horses. So deduct 150 gold pieces cumulatively.
I can just deduct that. I'll deduct 150 for everyone.
Thank you.
That's awesome, because it would have left me with 3 gold.
Oh, that's what I would have been going into debt.
And it's one of those things, where you think, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And then suddenly you crest a hill and you see a magnificent city that sits on a large. It's hard to say whether it's a large lake or a small sea, but it's a considerable body of water, and behind, in the background, are the mountains in the distance, the mountain domain of the dwarves of Usk Dalam. And Malith, because there's no doubt in your mind that that's the city you see, it glistens on the shore of the lake in shades of mustard and gold and limestone. It's a very bright city. As you get closer, you realise that, of course, it's not all light and joy. In any city of this size has got to have its smoky, slummy bits, and its less salubrious quarters. But still, that doesn't detract from the magnificence. It's something that is sadly lacking in Port Draz. Port Draz has been conquered and reconquered, and is ever changing in a way that Malith is not. Malith gives a sense of stability, where Port Draz has a sense of dynamism. Anyway, you pull into town, and yeah, it's a big old place. What do you want to do?
Immediately get off the horse that I've been riding for God knows how long.
Yep. I think that's a fair call. Your ass is well and truly chapped. Not just yours, by the way. And so?
After all that, it'd be nice to get a proper meal, a proper nice bed, a nice establishment if we can find one.
Before we upset anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get kicked out of the city.
I vote for a bath.
A bath. Well, you have a number of options available to you. You make inquiries, and there are some people who are helpful and some people who are less helpful. One option you are presented with is the Bloody Griffin. It's
Griffins.
the Bloody Griffin. It's you're told it's a relatively salubrious person. Relatively salubrious inn. The other there's the Busy Boot, and that is a little bit more run down. And then finally, well, not finally, but certainly from this person, they suggest the Mysterious Serpent. They say the Busy Boot probably doesn't have baths. Probably. The Bloody Griffin probably has baths. That's a bit more of your sort of adventurers type joint. And the Mysterious Serpent, it's that's probably got baths too. Never really been there myself, so don't know.
Seems like the Bloody Griffin's the way to go.
All right, bloody griffin.
That poor griffin.
Yeah.
Well, is it his blood or someone else's?
Well, and indeed, that question is answered somewhat for you when you arrive, because you see the sign of the bloody griffin has a griffin rampant with blood dripping from its claws.
Good
Thank-
griffin.
Thank the gods for that.
Claws or paws? I'm going to say claws on paws, as opposed to talons. Anyway, you walk in to the bloody griffin, and it is the kind of joint you walk in, and those of you who've been around fights often enough recognise that the bloody griffin is the kind of place that a fight could break out any second and nobody would be surprised.
Barracks type of place.
It is indeed Barracks kind of place. He feels very comfortable knowing that if chairs are going to be broken here, it's just as likely not to be him breaking them.
So don't immediately start playing my bagpipes.
Why not?
There's only one way to find out.
Mindaris gives a few test swings of his quarterstaff.
God.
Just in the
Come in,
general
spinner.
vicinity. Yeah. And in any particular direction?
No, just sort of whoever's closest. If it doesn't hit them, just sort of make sure that...
Can we not have one day without a bar fight?
We've gone so many days without a bar fight.
It's been 4 weeks since your last bar fight.
Not long enough.
There is a healthy fire burning in the fireplace because it's now late autumn and the nights are getting cold and wet, and it's not a place to be outside during the night time. You know, because you've been camped by the road on one more night than you really felt comfortable. The barkeep says, "What can I do you for?"
I'll ask for a round of drinks for me and my friends, pointing at the
Sure.
people who walked in with me.
No worries. You get a set of tankards of ale and a nod as you pay over your 1 gold piece for all 5. Barkeep looks at you and says, "So, you look like you're new in town."
Relatively newish. Is there anything we should know so we don't step on anyone's toes?
Yep, don't step on anyone's toes, is my tip.
That's good advice. Is there anything else that we could know about the? What's the rumors? What's the chatter around the fireplace?
Well, the rumour around the fireplace is that Duke Jasar had Duke Unaroth killed so he can become king. But we're reckoning that the Marquess has got a good show now.
Right. So everyone here is going to be barracking for their local.
Marquess Etain is as wise and as strong-willed as she is maternal in instinct. We all love her. And we wouldn't hear a bad word said about her. And I'm sure I speak for everybody in town without exception.
Yeah. Some kind of mind control spell going on here.
No. She has been the King's Palace is based here in Melith, and he
The
he
King's
rules
Palace is here.
yes, and he rules the kingdom as wisely as she rules our city.
We're looking for 2 half-elves and a tall, slight lady by the names of Neil Keel, Usmori Solo, and Swan Emdgar. Emdgar, I think is how it's pronounced locally.
Yes. No, I don't know anybody by those names. Yeah. I wish I could help, but I really can't.
Can I see if she is sincere? Like, I'm looking to see if she recognized those names but tried to hide.
Yes, you can.
That insight.
As far as you can tell, he believes everything he is saying.
It's a big city here, isn't it?
It's a big city, and there are many, many people here, yes. Not as big as Port Draz, but then nowhere is.
If we were looking to find some people but didn't quite know where to start, could you point us in the direction of someone who might be able to help us? Maybe a local or someone who has their ear to the ground and can hear these kinds of...
Well, I suppose the Nine Eyes nearby might know a few things. I guess that's what they do.
Nine Eyes are a bit dangerous, aren't they? Would it be wise to talk to them? How would I do that?
Well, I'm sure I don't know, he says.
And I'll just, in my hands, flash the Nine Eyes towards him.
Okay.
And wink.
He winks back and says, well, you see that fella sitting over there, and he doesn't gesture in the direction of somebody nursing a glass of wine somewhat effetely. He says, that person over there that I'm not telling you about might know something about somebody.
And I'll say, thanks for not telling me anything, and I'll hand him a silver.
Okay.
And
No
I'll
worries.
make,
You can pay me to tell you nothing anytime.
I'm so confused.
I'll walk over. I don't know who should come with me. Anyone who wants to come with me can come with me. I'll leave it at that. I'll walk over to where he didn't gesture.
Mm-hmm.
I will take a seat further back in the room and just sort of pluck idly at my loot while I watch.
The barkeep looks at you and says, "Give us a tune."
Do I need to roll for that?
No, you just play your loot. Don't just pluck at those strings.
I'll play a jovial tune.
That's the spirit.
Mull of Kintyre, oh, mist rolling in from the
I won't be
sea.
singing.
My desire is always to be here.
What we need is some way that the person in charge of this whole thing can mute other people. All right.
Everybody now.
Zane, what are you doing?
Key change.
I'm making my way towards. Is anyone coming with me?
Yeah, Barrett's going to follow along beside you.
Alright, cool. Actually, before I do that, I'll get another 3 ales.
Right.
He was drinking fine wine. He's an effete gent. This man has
Oh.
taste.
Was he drinking wine?
He was drinking fine wine. He's an effete man. You need a top shelf scotch.
Fine wine or
Agree with
scotch?
You got to go better than what he's drinking.
All right, I'll actually, yeah, okay. So I'll go to the barkeep and go, can you give me another one of what he's drinking or something better? Happy to pay.
Yeah, he says, yeah, sure. Here, have some Doveren brandy.
All right, so Doveren brandy and 2 ales, please.
Fine, that'll be a gold piece.
Okay, cool. And with the drinks, I'll stand up by the table and say, is this seat taken? I have a brandy saying it's not, as politely as I can.
He says, of course, please. You look like just my sort of fellow.
I think you'll find we both are, and I'll flash him the 9 eyes as well.
He says, yes. What can I do for you?
Just after information. We're after a few people, two half elves and 1 human. One of them is a female who's tall and slender, and one of the males is quite brawny. Go by the name of go by the name of Canton Beer. Do you know anything about these guys?
Canton Beer, did you say?
Gil, sorry. Write down the name.
Right.
And I'll mention the other names, including Ermdar.
Okay. He says, I don't really, no, I don't, I mean, it's a big place, I don't know, but I could probably find out for, say, 200 gold pieces. I can probably find out.
Could do.
It's not all for me, you understand. I have to grace the paths.
Yeah, drop information. Mm-hmm. Happy to do it. I won't be so overt as to just hand it over the table, but yeah, 200 gold is yours. While I've got your attention as well, if you have any other information about what's the current unrest, if there's any about town, or if you got any jobs going, we're always looking to make some more gold to grease more palms.
Well, I'll keep my ears to the ground for you, I suppose. But first things first, let's see the color of your money.
All right, now I'll pass out 200 gold as like carefully as I can without drawing too much attention.
Sure. He says, "Yep, this all seems in order. Meet me here tomorrow, same time tomorrow, and I'll tell you what I know."
Thanks. Enjoy your drink.
Enjoy the sights of Melith. It is a beautiful town.
Looks like it. Thank you. And I'll get up and come back to the group. My old pal Barrack.
All right.
I'll update everyone. Looks like we've got 9 eyes looking out for these people. Is there anything else you guys want to do?
Not that I can think of.
That's what we need to, unless we want to go to the Spark and ask them. It occurred to me these people might be nice.
Do you want to talk to the Spark Mentatus?
I don't really think the spark would know anything about. You've
Well,
got
I
a
guess
candle as well. You can do it.
yeah, my Spark connection is a little bit tenuous at the best of times. I'm an honorary member at best. Well, if no one wants to do anything Spark related, unless other people have anything to do, I might do some shopping. I want to buy some healing potions.
Hmm. I didn't write it down, but we found a whole bunch of things whilst we were in that dungeon or
Arrows,
whatever.
arrows,
Yeah.
quiver, and a glaive, I think, are all tingly.
I think there was a wand in there as well, and or a staff of some sort in there. I would like to go and figure that stuff out.
All right. So, indeed, you did find a few things. So, I take it then you are trying to get those things identified, is that right?
Yes.
I'll pass Mindaris both of my quivers, one that's full of arrows and one that's empty, and just say, see if you see anything interesting about these things as well, please.
Sorry, was that? I had to step away for a second.
That's cool. I was just saying that I was passing Mindaris my 2 quivers that I found as well, one that has magical tingly arrows and one that's empty. I just want to see if there's anything interesting about the empty quiver.
So the arrows are simple arrows +1. As is the glaive. The quiver is so if sorry, did you just say something, Jeff? No. So if you're not casting identify yourself, it's going to cost money to have them identified.
Don't you just spend the night with the item?
Spend the night with the item. That might work for your basic stuff.
It's 100 GP for an identification.
100 gold pieces for an identification.
If you're casting it yourself.
Yeah. So
Well,
so no,
new guy,
no.
do you have an identify spell?
I've got an identifier.
You do?
Yep.
All right. Well, then you're going to need 200 gold pieces to obtain the necessary components in order to do the identification.
I'll check you 200.
All right. Chucking 200 in Jimmy's direction
I catch a flight to Bali.
reveals that the quiver is a quiver of Elona. It has 3 compartments, each of which connects to an extra dimensional space that allows the quiver to hold numerous items while never weighing more than 2 pounds. The shortest compartment can hold up to 60 arrows, bolts, or similar objects. Mid-sized compartment holds up to 18 javelins or similar objects, and the longest compartment holds up to 6 long objects, such as bows, quarterstaffs, or spears. You can draw any item the quiver contains as if doing so from a regular quiver or scabbard.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Thank you.
The wand is a wand of the War Mage +1. While holding this wand, you gain a bonus to spell attack rolls and ignore half cover when making a spell attack.
Mindaris, I think, has got your name on it.
Sure. Although, do you have much in the way of spell attacks? Because you are a...
I've deliberately to have avoided attack spells. So my spells are saving throws rather than attacks.
Well, I might as well have the one then.
All right. Anything else that you're doing during the day? You wanted to get healing potions, was it, David?
Yep. I want to see how many healing potions are available and then figure out how many I can buy.
Well, it's a big old town. How long do you want to spend looking?
Like just the business hours. If it was, when was it when I had that conversation with the head of the Ninos?
It was the night of your arrival, the evening of your arrival.
Okay, so we probably would have had a sleep, and then in the morning breakfast time.
That's right.
Yeah, I would have just spent probably the better part of the morning and probably after lunch aiming to get back.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 stores max.
Yeah, right. There's probably a total of 12 potions available.
Going for how much?
50 GP.
Can I hold on all that expenditure on potions, because we've got 2 casters, 2 healer party now.
I might not buy 12 of them, but I might buy a few just in case the casters go down. They're there just to wake you up, not to actually heal us.
Right.
If that makes
Okay.
sense. They're my CPR.
Okay.
Restarts.
Mindaris,
Yes.
do you have the spell book?
I don't.
Do you want to swap some spells?
Do they work that way?
Well, I have 2 spells in the spell book that I would love to expand. If you have Detect Magic or Unseen Servant or Floating Disc, I would love to swap a spell.
I did have a couple of those. Unfortunately, I went for a swim, and my old spellbook got destroyed, and my new spellbook does not have any of those.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just take them out of your old spell book then.
No, the old spell book's destroyed. Fine.
Well, if you're not using the old spell book, I'll have it. But the line's a bit glitchy. I'm not picking up everything Rowie is saying.
The old one is destroyed.
So, no.
X spell book.
All right, there's nothing that you can think of that you should be doing in Melith while you have time on your hands and the opportunity to do so. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't really know a great deal of anything, so I'm taking cues from everyone else.
Fair enough. Something that we may have covered as recently as today.
Isn't that towards where the tabaxi was it tabaxi? Where the shard was going off towards?
You might actually be right. Perhaps we should investigate that.
Barak, did you have a thing about where the shard was going?
Yeah, give me a second, I'll just find the note again. Porogath. Apparently
I suppose it's my fault that I throw so many weird names at you that you get confused about all the weird names that I'm throwing at you. Anyway, what would you like to do?
Let's ask some questions about Paragraph and Archivelt.
Okay, who are you asking?
My problem is who I want to ask is the Nine Eyes guy, but he's busy shaking hands at the moment.
Well, he sounds like we wait till he gets back and then we'll give him another mission.
Yeah, I guess we'll take the first stage to get our bearings.
Okay.
And then I'd like to follow up with more people and more information if he's got it.
Sure. So, getting your bearings, as you say, you find that the King's Palace is in the centre of Melith, and it is a rectangularly shaped precinct in the centre of the city, surrounded by a circular courtyard, I guess, or plaza, and then broad streets head off in four directions from that circular area. So it gives you the sense of being a very well planned city, unlike others that you have been to, other settlements that you've been to. Somebody has taken time to lay out where things will be before they were built, and have stayed that way. Perhaps somebody once laid out Port Draz, but if they did, it bears no sign of that today. There is a harbour at the lakeside, and you learn that there is some trade between villages that dot the edge of the lake and here, and in particular a town on the far side of the lake, which brings some product in and out of Uskdelem for the dwarven cities in the mountains, for and from those cities. There are trading centres throughout the city, market squares and sort of manufacturing areas and so on. It's the normal things that you would expect to find in a city of its kind. Bearings, and you're able to say that the city is pretty easy to navigate because of the way in which it was planned. So when people talk about the quarter, such and such quarter, it's one of those places where that actually means something because of the way the four streets divide the four main streets divide the city. So you return back to the Bloody Griffin after your sightseeing, and true to his word, your mysterious acquaintance is sitting with a glass of wine and a plate of cheese and bread.
I'll order an ale for the group, and I will order a glass of wine, and I'll go and sit next to him while he eats, motioning for Barrack to come with me if he wants to.
All right.
I
You
shall
should
follow
probably
him.
also deduct. You should probably also deduct 5 gold pieces for stabling costs per day, and another gold piece per person for your stay at the Bloody Griffin. He looks up at you as you approach the table and gives you a nod and beckons you to sit down.
I sit. Is Barrack with me?
Yes, Barrack has followed you over.
Cool, awesome. What good news can you tell me?
Well, I don't know whether it's good news or not. All I can tell you is that these 3 that you speak of passed through the city about a month ago and were only here briefly before they rode off again to the north. Well, northwest, northwest, yes, northwest.
Do you know what they did while they were here?
So far as I can tell, they visited a local brothel and drank copiously, gambled somewhat, and then left.
And did your contacts did they tell you at all how they were dressed, or what direction lies northwest? What lies in that direction?
Well, from what they were able to tell me, I wouldn't put it any higher than that they. This is what we've heard. We've heard they were headed for Porogath.
Is that a name that one of us knows for some reason?
All of you should know that. I'm sorry to say, but
Yes, it's where we believe the shard is headed.
Porogath is a nation of orcs north of Metzu. Porogath has been at war with Metzu on a number of occasions. The legends of the War of Liberation that saw the Haramet Empire ejected from the continent of Rajyet say that in fact that war would not have been possible but for the fact that the orcs fought the elves to a standstill on the border of what is now Metzu and Porogath. And the elves expended so much energy trying to defeat the orcs that they only ended up weakening themselves to the extent that then the internal uprising that brought an end to the empire was possible. But since the creation of Metzu, Porogath and Metzu have been at war in total war on 3 occasions in the last nearly 1,000 years. But skirmishes and fracas as well.
What can you tell me about the Marquess? Is the Nine Eyes here in good standing, or do we just avoid like we do everywhere else? Authority.
Well, the Marquess does what she does, and we do what we do. I don't. If she's ever engaged us to do work for her, that's above my pay grade.
Can you then maybe that's actually the answer I want, because it just means you're unbiased, which is what I am too in this. Do you have any opinions about the Marquess in terms of her sentiment within the city or her disposition? Is she hungry for power? Is she just looking to serve it? Okay, no worries. Well, thank you very much. That's answered a lot of questions for me. I do have one more name on my list. Do you feel like doing the same thing again?
Yeah, sure.
I'm after a tabaxi by the name of Arkavelt. He's taken something, and I'm just wondering where he is, where he's headed, if he stopped here, who he saw, and what he might have left here, or what he walked away with.
All right, 200 gold, and I'll see what I can do.
Yep, the 200 was already in my hand, in the bag, and I pull it out.
All right. Okay, that's where we'll call it for the day.
Mm-hmm.